Right back.
Let's go. Woo. YouTube it is. YouTube it is. What's up, lads? Good morning. Mendez burning the midnight oil all week. All week. We're going after this BSL. Price range? Nope, not price range. Price labels. Thank you. And let's say that. Yes. Nothing doing yet for me. Nothing doing yet. I think that was valid. At least some sort of failure in here with the idea. The 15-minute. We knew essentially from 6:45 in the morning that we were going up. We had all this we talked about yesterday post-market. Little SNDR. Didn't quite tap into it, but sweeping and failing. Lifts. Personality candle. Lifts. Boom, boom, boom. Boom, 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 boom. And here it goes. Here it is. Quick, go long, risking 90 points to make 10. Quick. Good morning, Drama. Hey, Wing, how you doing, man? Let's get it. Hopefully you guys have been having a killer week. I think we have. Morning, Baz. Mr. Robbins, how you doing? Did you lock it in? There it goes, 66.25. Now, I don't really consider this accumulation, so I'm a little bit more concerned that we're going to pop up a little bit further, even another 40 or 50 points. You got them both locked in. Good lad. Wow. Flying. Flying. I love it. Congratulations on your success, bro. If you had to guess, what was the thing you changed to really get dialed in on pulling everything? Woof. Boom. Boom, boom, boom. Mental, okay. All gas. This might actually continue. If it continues with this kind of velocity, because you've got all of this. I need something a little bit more to get involved, right? You could argue that it's a bit of an SMDR here, maybe, but the mental aspect. Everybody comes to that at some point.
Well then.
Well then is right. You guys hear Mikey just fine? Make sure I got everything set up properly.
Holy smokes.
Yeah, man. Watching, waiting, watching, waiting, watching. Good, 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 good.
Now I really wish I was in those longs still.
Man, who are you telling? Yeah, pretty much it's like the mode of operations of the way we think. Bearish, 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 bearish. When are we not bearish? We're not bearish here. Immediately. Right? You could argue break of structure as well. But I mean, if you're so concerned over, oh, is this a valid low? Is this a protected high? What is this going on? Like, we're kind of looking at the chart. Right? This to me is lethargic. Right? Lethargic. Spike. Trades back in. Gone. And now the question remains, like, as soon as this closes here, we look to the left. Whereabouts do we have that we should touch into? Right? So we've got all these highs that haven't been swept. All of them. Now, like, you can continue looking at time frames. Okay, so we got a higher time frame high here maybe, or whatever. Maybe even something like this. Right? We've now changed on the hourly. We haven't, well, I suppose you could argue we actually broke on the hourly as well. But essentially we're looking at cleaning up to the left, and then we need to determine just how violent the reaction is from this. Right? So, like, what do you think about this, Mikey? Like, this, if it closes underneath that, is that a little bit too aggressive for the movement back down to the initial? Like, because the 50-minute range is right here.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah, let's see what we get here. But that's a pretty aggressive pump to fade right now. Unbelievable.
You guys can't hear me? This daily candle swept underneath, and we very well could be targeting this being a bull bar. Right? We've touched into the gap, and we've got a strong reaction.
Yeah.
Right? I would not. I'd be very, very cautious shorting this. You might get that movement back down, but I think waiting for confirmation on it is far more important. All gas, man.
Wild. Picked the wrong time to take the dog out.
Expecting a squeeze here. Unless it really wants to trade back down, in which case we'll know pretty quick. Morning, Anthony. How you doing, man? $9.52. No signs. We'll see if we just get a blast or not. If you guys are long, you're looking pretty. Let's put it that way. Six seconds.
Oh. Could be just one of those days that's just impossible to get a hold of.
$19,000 as well. A nice round number for everybody to short off of, expecting profits. Usually that doesn't bode very well. Patience pays. You might want to short this very, very badly. Everything could be telling you to do so. And you might want to long this very, very badly. You need to have something to risk off of. You could argue that this attempted to fail and couldn't. So getting long somewhere in here, fine. But like, I think there's going to be a lot of trades today with this volatility. New 5-minute candle opening in 40 seconds, but this is all gas so far. Follow your lows if you want, if it's going to go parabolic, but then you have to determine if it's going parabolic. So you would have just gotten, well, actually your stop should still be here technically, right? Because that did fail above here. Yeah, failed for a grand total of 10 seconds. Right, but this kind of PA, you're almost depends what your risk is. Let's put it that way. Depends what your risk is. If you want to stay in the move and you have high conviction of trading up into here, or that we're going to get a blow off day, then you're looking at your 5-minute time frame. Right? Now that would have been unfortunate, but other than that, you're following your 5-minute lows. And then if you get a CSD, well, now you can expect a 5-minute imbalance tap at, say, 73 or something. But you're essentially not wanting to get stopped in the wind fluctuations that is going on here. I'm going to sit on my hands patiently here. Patiently waiting. Right? I think you can probably justify getting involved on these because of how violent it is, but like you want to see pretty much explosive movement afterwards. And if you get that, then you're right. Otherwise, away you go. And you take your loss and you move on. But that's momentum trading in itself. We are trading, as violent as this looks. I'm not wild about shorting it, but we are trading up into the area that sent us down violently in the first place yesterday. Right.
Yeah,
Now,
we're at 50% of that zone now.
yeah, in premium, yeah. Now the concern would be that this wasn't that violent, was it?
No.
Right? So I'm not really looking at this going, this was a higher time frame saying get off my lawn sort of deal. This was kind of like, okay, well, we're pulling back. Cool. And then this same sort of thing, right? So this just kept going, but I'm kind of looking at the daily going that if I find a way of getting involved here, maybe if it even tapped back down to this. But that's not, I mean, that's now, it's not even a swing, really. This is pretty hard to get a hold of. Usually what I look for is I look for attempts to sell off that fail. Usually I like to see weak candles. Something like this, something like this is perfect too. Where you get that kind of attempt to sell off, closes there, and then the next candle just goes, well, let's push. That's a high probability of being a higher time frame PA. But sitting on my hands here. 10 a.m. coming in. 10 a.m. candles have been wild as of late.
This is insanity. 850.
Where's the tweets? That's what I want to know. Don't go without us, lads. Don't go without us. Gotta get some music going in here for this. This is nuts. Nuts, nuts, nuts. Jesus. I think it's important too, like having structural reasons to get out of trades that are flying. But discretionarily too, right? Like, but the problem with discretionary in this is that you're waiting sort of to see the response of bearish movement. And that could give back, like in this case, say like that candle sells off to here, and now you're waiting to see, do we get follow through? Well, now we're talking like, what, 20 or 30 points. Discretionary. right? Versus being out here almost immediately. So it's a double-edged sword, but obviously you're seeing the benefits of discretionary, right? Where you're kind of waiting for that response, going, I want to see what happens. And then sure enough, like this candle opens and now you've made 70 points by risking an extra, say, 20. That's good. I like those metrics. But that being said, I'm not involved in any of this. Did you ape in anywhere, Mikey, or are you waiting too?
No, bro.
Yeah. Just waiting with pain. Pain on your face like me.
Yeah.
Yeah. Just watching money fly out the door.
Brutal.
Brutal. Again, this is our 15 and our 5. Like, short. Nope. Short. Nope. Hopefully nobody. Hopefully no streamers are trying to short this stuff for the big move. Hopefully. Man. Hey, we actually have a valid high for the first time. How about that? First one since 932. Now what?
What news came out this morning?
It was unemployment this morning.
I'm guessing it was good.
Bro. Who knows? They could have expected it to be horrific, and it turned out to be slightly less horrific. No real CSD for me other than maybe all the way down here, but I won't be waiting for that. I think, you know, you got your 15 and your 5. If they want to go bearish, we're going to know pretty quick. Right, stabbing into here maybe and then having a violent reaction. Because we don't have anything in here really to hold it up if it wants to run. Which gives you a little bit more information too, because if we chop around here and there's no urgency to the downside, well, guess what?
Holy shit, XRP is probably going through the moon right now.
What, crypto news?
Yeah, CME Group to expand crypto derivatives suite with launch of XRP futures.
XRP futures. Whoop! Oh, speaking of. Let's see. Gold's actually been on a tear lately as well, hasn't it? Let's have a look. Yeah, I guess. A little bit of a spike. We'll see what that ends up being today, maybe. Just for fun. Cannot justify shorting anything in here, even that valid high or anything with targets lower, right? This is how you stay out of trouble despite that, waiting for some sort of delivery change. Now, if this fails, maybe. But, like, this would have had to sweep and then, like, come down here, and then that's sort of signaling we've got internal failure that wants to pull back a little bit. Instead, here we are. Watching, waiting. Still choked about that short last night.
Bro.
I was watching it. I was watching it here. Like when we were talking about it unloading, I was actually in. And then it just started chopping around. So it was. Yeah, it was this. Right. So it hit off the SNDR, and you were like, oh well, yeah, while you're watching hockey, and and then on that sort of signature here, like so that this traded up and then traded through. I was like, okay, it's go time. This is gonna take this low, and then it started just grinding down. So it kind of just threw me for a bit of a loop, but that would have ended up running this low beautifully, and then even that one. So it kind of shook me out there. I ended up with like $400 or something overnight. All gas, no brakes, man. Do we trade into 74 and find balance, or are we looking at this as being maybe a failure?
Let's just let price play and see what we got so far.
Nothing for me so far. I'm just looking at us trading into this, and if we're going to get any sort of pullback to run the high, or do we just continue on? Yeah, 100 points to go. Everybody staying safe, just watching. Is Ella's still in?
If you're still in, brother, just trail your lows now.
Nope. Okay. I was gonna give you a shout out. Shout out live on YouTube. The Diamond Hands. Lane Diamond Hands.
Oh shit.
I live on Ellis Street, so I get to think about you every day on the way to work, man. Make you smile. Is that weird? Is that a weird thing to say?
Have you taken anything yet this morning?
Not a thing, man. Not a thing. The old me would have been in about 50 trade, or not 50, but like literally 5 trades and probably walked away with like $2,000. But it's just not worth it on the days that scalping doesn't pay well. Cool 2 candle drop 5 minutes ago. This one, yeah. You might be able to justify if we get something here. This is valid. I don't like that we've already traded into this, so definitely with the bit of caution. I don't really think we've got that 15's not going to close bearish. You might be looking at this low here at around 69 for the 5-minute imbalance. This is a little violent though, so just a little bit caution. Get that there. There it is.
Let's see where this is going from here. Oh, yeah.
Whoop. Took the short. Ellis. My goodness. It looked promising. All right, man. You like it. We'll see what ends up happening here. This looks very, very dangerous. I need that CSD though.
Yeah.
Otherwise, I think this just runs. What you saying, Mikey?
Yeah, I want to see the CSD, bro. I can't.
Yeah. That's a nice little sweep. You might even be looking at a trade back up to 80s if. But if this if this doesn't fail here, then we're running the highs and away we go. Despite the violent nature, we've now traded into that lower time frame imbalance. Three seconds, do we get it?
Oh, you're gone. Voltron again.
What? Can you hear me?
Oh, yeah, you're good again now.
CSD hasn't broken structure yet. Kind of want to see that. Loving the PA in terms of the short side. Don't want to get caught in anything crazy, but we'll see. Hey Zero, what's going on, buddy? Right, so we got our new low. Cool. We'll see if this actually stabs back up into 79 or if we get this internal sweep. I like that CST. Still bullish structure though. So not exactly high probability, but we'll see. There's your stab. If we're going to fail, we're going to go very, very quick. Otherwise, I think they just trapped a whole bunch of shorts and we're going to squeeze them out very, very quickly. All right, we're stabbing into our manipulation leg. I'm not wild about the 5 or the 15, but we'll see.
No.
All right, this demands a little bit of respect, at least the CSD. But this has got to fail from here, otherwise we're going higher. Oh, bullish. Go on, you good thing. It's gotta drop. It's gotta drop. Nine seconds on this candle. Sweeping below. Having a really hard time. You need a major flush here. Not ideal. Not ideal. Oh dear. CSD has changed the state of delivery, right? So we're looking at the open of this manipulation push inside of this zone. I probably should have my stop above that. God damn it. Just wasn't wild about the delivery, so I put it above this high when we got our push away from this zone. This could still fly down, we'll see, but son of a bitch. That's right, yes. Yes, they are. And if this is going to drop, it's going to really drop. Like, I'm talking 49, then all the way down to like 19,000. Right? But again, shorting to expect this structure breaking. You've got your Wombo combo now trading into the 23.6. Cool. I think there might be better setups, even though this did have the CSD. This is kind of accumulation, manipulation, trading down into this too. Cool.
Don't stop me.
What's that?
I'm just saying, don't stop me out.
Yeah.
I hit it, took a bit of heat, and then I'm break even.
Nice, bro.
At 78. Don't do it to me.
5 looking sauce. Haven't broken structure. Nasty. Despite this. I actually liked it a lot. But then we had accumulation, manipulation. If this can't fail from like 61s, then I think we're in a lot of trouble on the short side.
I took a BE there.
Yeah. I think that's fair. Oh man, this is rough. Could be building an SNDR maybe to take the highs. I think that's a valid possibility right now. Right, sweeping this candle, good. Bit of a reaction coming in. We'll see.
We got some nice accumulation here, though. So let's see.
There it goes.
Now we got a new CS. Changes to deliver too.
Yeah. Yeah. But my concern now is like this sort of accumulation right underneath the daily high with this sort of blast. I think if it was going to trade back down at all and then run it later, it would have done that.
Oh.
But we'll see. We'll see.
We got 1030 coming in hot here too.
Yeah, true.
Where is my hourly open?
right into the midpoint of our extensions. I hit this short in here. Wasn't really wild about that, and then took that stop. That's a little annoying, but I thought that was pretty valid, even though that did end up finally trading up. Like if you've got your wombo,
Yeah.
but
Yeah.
I thought it was valid with the CSD. We might look into that a little bit more, but we'll see. Sideways blast. I think if this closes up, then you've got something new here. But not really wild about looking short unless we get something pretty clear. Pretty clear.
Do we run right up to that 19,256 today is the question.
I think we're gonna blast through the daily into it.
Well, I think maybe we'll come up. Maybe we'll get a pullback here at 10:30 and then look to.
What's our range right now? About 500-ish points. That one was about 700. Yeah, we got another couple hundred to go. Very well could, man. Very well could.
Fuck, the way things have been going lately.
It bears repeating as well, guys. We're not trying to catch like the short, right? We're not necessarily looking for that, but we're looking for reasons to like, okay, we've got a pullback now, so say we close underneath there. I think this was actually a valid long setup. The idea is that we get a pullback into, we've now created yet another zone, right? We got a zone here, closed above, then traded back in, created a new one now, right? So if we're getting a pullback, we might do something like this into this area, which would then continue higher. And I think we would get our third push up as well, right? So we're at kind of 2. The challenge with this now is that if the 15 fails and we get like a very, very strong abrupt push, or even something like yesterday, then we could trade off from this and leave this high for later on. We have to at least entertain that possibility.
This could be the SNDR that we just built to take the high later, right?
Yeah, that's the alternate, right? And I think the 5 minute supports that. Little consolidation into the imbalance, runs, and now we're looking at this. If we're strong, we continue to bounce off of this candle. Possibly even the open of it. If this like shoves like down here, then maybe. But even then would achieve that pullback as well, so wouldn't really be looking short unless we had additional failure coming in hot. Woo. Goodbye. There's one off. Looking for the high. 28s. And stop goes to the open of this here. Don't want it coming back down at all. This should just go. There it goes. Boom. Could I argue still holding on to this? Yes, absolutely. But, I'm actually going to... I probably should let this run, but I'm actually going to take it off here. Did you hit that? Or no?
No. I was sorting out my charts here, trying to... figure out what I got going.
Is that too cowboy, the failed CSD and high bullish structure?
No, man, that's...
I think it's fair, right? It's aggressive. It's aggressive as shit. But if we're going to run the highs and continue to do so, then we've achieved our objective of tapping into this zone. I actually wanted it a little bit lower into this order block, but we didn't really get that. Anthony, of course you did. I think Anthony's more aggressive of a trader than me. He's going to be phenomenal. He already is phenomenal. What am I talking about? He's back at it, eh? 40 evals at market open. Hopefully they only went long and they made money. I like seeing other people succeed, man, even if they have no idea what they're doing.
Who's that?
Who else? With 40 evaluations.
Oh, our boy.
Our boy.
Damn good.
Our boy. Micros. Yeah, micros is good. Micros is good. You know, it definitely builds your discipline and your and everything else, because like say you're trading minis. Let's say you're doing something ridiculous and you're like, you know what? I'm actually gonna trade 2 minis, and I only want $400 a day. Right? So I just need one good trade, don't I? Right? But like, you better be right. Because if you're in here and you get stopped out, you know, but then you like take like this and you're like, hey, I made $400 here. This was a good day. No. Right? Hit it with micros. And then actually hold to target for once. For once. Hold to target. So yeah, that's basically who we're talking about. 100 evaluations, yeah. Outrageous.
You should see his fucking, like when you look at his execution charts, like because he leaves his executions on, and it's just.
I thought that was an indicator. You know, like those indicators where they've got like buying pressure, selling pressure, buying pressure, selling pressure. I didn't think it was him.
Yeah.
Yeah. Even at 90% off, that's what? That's like 1,600. Actually, it's a lot more than that. That's like 3K. 3K. How many micros do I trade with? I trade with 5. If I trade micros, I trade 5. Usually I will trade with 1 mini. But in my opinion, the proper way of doing it, like say for example you weren't short here and you were like, "Bull, you're a moron. Let's look long." So whereabouts is our initial? So you might take an initial trade where you'd probably take it. If you're looking long, you're looking for some sort of failure. Okay, so we got failure here. Maybe we're involved somewhere in here. Let's say hypothetically we're in at 67. Cool. So here's your stop, right? So 17 points. Let's say you're even rocking a 20-point stop, so $200. 5 micros, right? And you're looking at least for this high or maybe even beyond, whatever the case may be. So in my opinion, like the main issue that people have, the main issue is that they're initially wrong and they're sizing inappropriately for that move. And then the determination, and this is going from like a break even or slightly profitable trader to somebody who's actually pulling money consistently out of the market. It's that initial risk, $200, right? So if you're wrong, it's not going to kill you, right? And then when are you right? So say we're involved here and you start to get this movement. This is adding, right? And then ideally we get something here, in which case you're like really adding in here. All with the idea that now your trade becomes a winner. So if this trade's over, now you're immediately break even. Maybe you're adding somewhere in here, or you're even adding on failure that's going on here, and now your average position's there. You've mitigated your initial risk, which is very, very low. And now you've got the equivalent of 1 mini here because your trade is working in your favor, and now you're determining whereabouts to scale out. Instead, I was actually more looking at this from a short perspective for a pullback, which in reality, against structure, isn't exactly ideal, but I thought that this determined a little or demanded a little bit of movement, and we did get our CSD, right? Usually we won't get that if we're going to pull back, and this was kind of not a rare case, but certainly not an ideal one of accumulation drop, right? We've seen this a million times, although not in bullish structure, but anyway. So this long, I ended up having to take it in here. So now I have to risk accordingly, because where's my stop? It can't be underneath this candle. Can it arbitrarily be 20 points? Maybe, right? I didn't want it trading deep into this, so I actually had a 20-point stop in here. And in which case I'm looking to make 30 points or so. So that was favorable to me with the probability of failing the CSD. And I took one off, or sorry, I took some off at 20, and then I let the rest go. But the initial risk is where people, I think, stumble. Because they want to make their money quick. They don't want to do the hard thing of becoming a trader and actually hold this to target. They want to make their 20 points, walk away with $400, and then they say that they just need to do that 10 times and you get a full payout. Well, it's true, but you guys will learn when you become consistent. Eventually, when you become consistent, that becoming consistent you would think would be the goal or like the big thing, but it's actually the person you become when you're consistent that's far more valuable. Far more valuable. And those of you guys in here that have achieved a little bit of trading success already, I think you guys can echo that you're somebody entirely different. You guys are somebody entirely different because it changes you in many different ways, this trading, doesn't it? This is pushing, kicking, and screaming all the way to the high. And do we get a who could have predicted this? Who could have predicted this? Why did I get out of this so quick? Yeah, probably fair question. Something to review later on. Hey, stop picking on me. Anthony. Anthony's flying. And I'm here for all of it. $10.37. Been in since 95. Did you get in here, Underwood? You just traded that better than me? Got filled at 95. This candle only went down to 95.25. Somehow. We probably bought it here or something.
Oh.
I got a lot of homework this weekend. I got to study some more charts. And got to study a little bit more of the Sicilian. Brush up on my chess game. Look at this. We might get your... what do we want? 300?
256.
256. Those are pretty juicy too, though. Those are really juicy.
Those are like equal highs at 256.
Yeah. Oh, 256?
Yeah.
Where's the other one?
Right behind it, bro.
Are you talking a 4 hour? Yeah. I was
1
looking
hour,
at the daily.
yeah.
Like I liked the Wednesday highs that haven't and only because of how violent this movement is.
And then we're on our way to 19,400, I think, by the end of the week.
Shaboom, shaboom. No, I buy stopped entry. All right. Above this. A little bit lethargic. Wouldn't be surprised if we cooked some of this, but sitting on my hands. We'll see. My guess is there won't be a beautiful way to get involved if we continue delivering on a higher time frame. I was long at 9:39. Took for peanuts. Yep. Yeah. Yeah, I wasn't at the desk for this. We just started flying. I think that the 50-minute CSD here, and then getting this, if we were involved, I think if you're involved somewhere in here and you get your breakout, then you're just following. You're just following. And you're stopped out there. That's one way of playing that. If it starts moving parabolically in 15-minute bullish structure. Because that's second distribution on your 15 now, eh? Right, here's your first. This is your mitigation to the area of interest, and now we've broken out. If you do find a way of getting involved, you're expecting this to be violent. Took me out trading there. Yeah, nice trade, Underwood. Nice work, man. Valid high. This will be interesting to see if we trade back down into here or not. None of this is structural.
Ooh.
Yeah. So last valid zone is actually in fact here. No, let's just leave it like that. Whatever. Doesn't need anything. Got in at 919. Wicked out for 19 points before this went crazy. My goodness, you guys getting involved pre-open and right after open. Look at these guys. This is a little dangerous. Again, you can kind of look at this, the same sort of signature as this, in fairness, but the difference is that we've got a little bit of a wedge failing coming in here, and we've got a target lower, whereas this really was not showing any signs of failure at all. So just a heads up. Just flowing through from London. Yeah, fair. Fair. Here she comes. Be nasty if it got held up like in here or just took a couple of these lows and then just ran. Oh!
Oof.
Oof! Not quite the target yet, mind you, but what a schmuck. Can't do it, Jim. I can't do it, Jim. They watching our stream? Did you get short there? For the drop?
No, bro, I was
You're
messing
watching.
around with my charts,
Yeah, fair enough.
trying to put where the 15-minute high was.
What is our 15 and 5 doing? That's gross. That 15's actually looking a little sauce. Now that we've taken the high, caution lads. But we'll see. That's why we trail. It's exactly why you trail. Yes. That's exactly it. I think this low at 95 is on the menu personally, but this is a very valid spot too. But I think that initiative selling deserves a little bit of respect, and at least having a look and see what the follow through is. $10.45. Was that a new 15? Ooh, that's a credible high if I've ever seen one. What do you think? Was that too aggressive, this? CSD here? Trade back in, maybe into this imbalance. Stop goes above this candle. We haven't achieved our objective yet. Wasn't displacement enough for me. This, yeah, fair enough. Fair enough, for sure. Is it enough now? So because of where this imbalance is, we might actually be looking at like this being the manipulation, like, or at least this open. I think that's fair too. We'll see if we get something up here. Oh man. Just because I wanted the short, yeah. Internal sweep and violent. You schmuck. I suppose that did tap back into this already, but I was looking for something a little bit higher. That's gross. There goes that 95 low. We'll see if we get anything here. This could just be dumping now. We are inside of our zone, so caution for sure. Right? I think this is violent enough that we are looking at this protected low at 49s, but that's tricky to get involved. Internal sweep, like it, sure, but at the lows, wasn't really wild about hopping in there, so I did not. Did you ape or are you sitting watching?
No, just watching, bro.
Yeah, it wasn't clean enough of our setup, I think. The alternative theory is that we actually close above this and that would run back up to the 50s. And then determine whether or not we get a short out of that. Not wild about that imbalance, but want me to leave it on there just for potential. Just watching to see. We do have an intermediate time frame shift now, I think. You're seeing this, right? That's a week 5. What's going on here? There it is, right? 15 sweeping underneath, cool. But this is just a trade back in. We've closed above this now. This should run back up to here. I'm not involved either way just yet, but we'll see. Let's see what goes on. Could you argue this is going to run the highs? Yeah, you certainly could. Right? My concern is that we've taken the daily level. If we do get failure, then fine. But this is sus. I think our imbalance is underneath this at 109.5, unless this gets created here. But we'll see. And again, we want displacement above this. We don't just want this closing here. Yeah, man. Oof. See what she's got. Not yet. You might get the same sort of signature here at 21.5 if it's closed underneath.
Five-minute fair value gap tap.
Yeah. Yeah. I think we want to see this defended if it trades back up. I like this. I didn't like how that closed bullish. I was hoping for a sweep here, so I had to get in a little bit later than I'd like. Let's see if we get anything. Look at that, 5-minute fair value gap. Yeah, like Mikey's saying. Beautiful 15 still, right? We were talking about that looking like a credible top. Beautiful stuff. Am I in short? Yes. I want to see this react from here and continue onwards. You could argue accumulation, manipulation, then trading higher. Cool. This might take me out here. We'll see. Right, this should fail here if it's going to. It's mainly the 5-minute imbalance, the failure that happened at the daily highs. Not really wild about this 1-minute delivery, but giving this a little bit of space to breathe. Right? I have to endure a little bit of inducement. Right? Unless we get something wild up here, then I'm going to sit in this for a minute. But I want to see failure here. There's the imbalance. A little bit more violent than I'd like. 10.55 as well. Hopefully they don't run it on the hourly. Is this a valid long? Maybe. But I think this 5-minute imbalance demands a little respect. This 15 certainly does. I want to see a stronger push away from this imbalance and this area of consolidation. If we return to equilibrium and then we run, I don't want to see this order block respected at 32. I want like this knifing down. That's not what I want to see out of that imbalance there. I think if this would have failed here, it would have went down almost immediately. Instead, we're kind of squeezing. Right? Trying to sell off but can't, which is a little concerning, obviously. And this is why we size down. That's better. It's got to go from here. My stop's now above 49. All right, so stabbing into this order block, cool. Not ideal. Not ideal. And if it hangs out here, then I'm just going to manually close this. That is gross. That is gross. Considered adding there, but I think I'm going to wait for a little bit more. Storming here. Oh dear. You be safe, bro. We're about to get a hourly open. Hopefully that hourly drops, which I think is valid considering this. Even though we've kind of had our manipulation, we might get a drop back down to 20. In which case, if we get a reaction from there, then I'm going. I want to see this go from here. Otherwise, I'm in trouble. And 11 a.m. Just not rolling, eh, Mikey?
No, bro.
Yeah.
I took the tap, but
This could
then
be
I went
building an
break
SMDR in
evens.
here.
Yeah.
Definitely can't add to it. Might just take my stop and see where this goes. But in the area that I want, just not the reaction that I want. And that's okay. This is just going sideways, accumulating people like myself. There I go. This will be nasty if it drops from here, but we'll see. I think I'm more likely that we're accumulating to run the highs, but there will be other trades. Love the area, just not really getting that reaction. I think if anybody's still short, you don't want to see this fail underneath this 30. You want to see displacement through. Whoop. It's the move. In reality, it didn't take the stop that I should have had. I just really was not happy with the delivery that was going on. That was the problem. Not necessarily the idea or the price action or anything associated with it. So we'll see. We'll see, we'll see, we'll see. Ooh.
I'm gonna run and top my coffee up real quick.
All right.
Before I do something stupid in here.
Oh, look at that candle as well. A nice little light pullback. Everybody's got their eyes on 80, I think. All right. Yeah, we'll go over that today for sure. I'm going to go for a drive and take her to school. And then we'll also hop on YouTube as well after I'm home. And we'll run it up a little bit more. Taking that after this, gave back quite a bit of that profit from this morning, but yeah, we'll be able to run it up. We'll run it up. Call it that 1 minute long. Well, yeah, that was beautiful of a long. That was beautiful of a long. I was kind of stalking the short based off of the 15. I thought that was a very credible high a day coming in. Just obviously wasn't meant to be, at least not yet. And I should have been a little bit more cognizant of this this signature on the other side. We're gonna do marbles today. We've got 3 take profit accounts to give away. We'll have some fun, and yeah, we'll be back on in a little bit. So let me go for a drive. Bye.